Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. I'm so glad that you're here. This is the webinar for Rekindling Your Soulfire with Aphrodite Spark. 3 steps to create more energy, beauty, and magic to give and receive. Now, I'd love to know if you could type in the chat box for those of you who are online, if you can hear me all right, and if you can see my screen. Fabulous. I'm getting the messages that everything is in good shape, so that's terrific. All right, so we'll go ahead and begin. Now, I know that you all came here today because you're ready to rekindle your soul fire and to generate more energy in your life, that you are taking care of tons of things, and it's time for you to start to have a little flow back into yourself. So for me, I think of soul fire as being energy. And that is that spark that we have, that no matter what's going on, it brings us a sense of aliveness. And some of us have probably noticed, as the demands of life get to build up, that soul fire feels like it can get dimmer and dimmer. And that can be a little scary. I know that there's been times in my life when I've realized that I don't feel as alive as I used to. And that is why I created this webinar, to help bring solutions and support for each of you. Now, I like to know when I'm about to do some work with somebody, who they are and why it is that they know this stuff and can give you the advice. So I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But first, please know that you're here right now and you deserve this time for yourself. So I'd love to encourage you to do whatever you need to make sure that you're claiming this space. Maybe mute your phone, close the door, turn off Facebook and the other multitasking things that so many of us do, and just give yourself the space to soak up some life-changing ideas. And I thank you for it, and I know that your spirit will thank you for this also. Now, this is what you should know about me. There are 3 things. The first is that I'm a board-certified counselor and also a board-certified life coach. I love the field of health and wellness, and I can't seem to stop myself from learning as much as I can and picking up more tools to be able to share. And also, I've been doing this for 20 years. It's been a passion, really, since I was a teenager, and I've just kept it going. And during this time, I've been helping people through the most difficult times in their lives, becoming parents, getting through divorces, coming out of depressions, navigating lawsuits, just about everything you can think of that would be a major life trial. I've been here to help people through to the other side. And what this also means is that I truly have a giant rolling bag of tools to help you. I think of it like the largest craftsman toolkit with hundreds of tools to help people get out of whatever it is that's really challenging, the really tough stuff, because we're super resilient. And yet there are times where it feels like maybe we're not going to make it. And this is what I've dedicated my career and my life to. But there's one other thing that you really do need to know. I'm doing this webinar because I've lived this. Even with all of that magnificent training and the difference that I've been blessed to make in people's lives, I want to just give you a snapshot of myself about 8 years ago. Now, at the time, I was homeschooling my 5-year-old. I had a baby in diapers who was very unexpected. In fact, I had been using birth control at the time that I got pregnant with her. And although she's an incredible blessing in my life, it was kind of a shock to be having a new addition to the family. At the same time, I was working to help put my husband back through school. And to top it off, I was taking care of my grandfather, who was 80 years old, with advanced dementia inside my home. So I bet you can relate to some of this from areas in your life when you've about maxed out your capacity to be able to show up and juggle everything. And that's why I love this picture of this woman with the sticky notes all over her, because the demands were constant. But I really came to a burnout moment, which actually became an aha moment. One day when I was quite desperate for a shower, and I don't know if you've had these times, but in the midst of having people need me pretty constantly, it was difficult to try to do a little bit of self-nurturing. So it was a challenge just to get in the shower, as I recall. It had been a couple days since I'd been able to take one for myself, even though I was giving them to everybody else. And I managed to get the shower started, and apparently I'd been able to shave one leg, and then somebody needed me urgently again. And so I jumped out of the shower, I ran to take care of the situation, and I realized a few hours later that I'd actually only shaved one leg. And that's kind of the way things rolled at that point in my life. And that aha moment really taught me something, that we need simple, manageable action steps that are doable no matter how busy we are and no matter who we are and where we are in life. And that's what this webinar is about. So you're competent, you're smart, and you're a hard worker. I know this because you are exactly the type of person that shows up for this information. You get things handled. And I love this graphic. For those of you calling in on the telephone, you can't see it, but there's a woman that has 6 arms coming out of her, each one doing a different thing, holding a different tool. And that's very much how many of us feels. So I know that you're getting the things done, but I also know that you're exhausted. You've been so busy, in fact, taking care of everyone else, whether it's your kids, your customers, your partners, your friends, even your family members, that you don't feel like there's time or space for your own life. You're keeping it together, but you don't actually know for how long. And you're here because you just know that something's got to give. Now, maybe you've tried some things, but you're not getting what you need yet. And that's definitely the space that I found myself in 8 years ago. In fact, I had so little time that I was feeling pretty desperate to get solutions. And something that started to change my life was when I came across an audiobook of Martha Beck's The Joy Diet, 10 Simple Steps to Add More Joy into Your Life. And I thought at first that any steps would just be way too difficult under the circumstances. And it turned out that that actually worked. And going through her process of the Joy Diet, which I highly recommend, definitely was a catalyst for finding all kinds of ways that work. So, my dears, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, this truly today is an incredible honor of being able to help you discover your own worth and reawaken into a life of greater freedom aliveness, and possibility. We're going to talk about why exhaustion is a signal that something isn't working. We're also going to talk about 3 different sets of tools that each from 15 seconds to 3 minutes tops. They're short and they're powerful, that can radically change your life for the better. And then I'm going to encourage you to pick one. And because this is about Aphrodite's energy, we're going to talk about desire and how, as women, we need to be able to pay more attention to our own precious needs. But I want you to remember, this is not to make you feel bad. I would never load you with other things to do or imply that you're not doing enough already, because I think you're pretty dang incredible. This really is supposed to be fun. Do you remember fun? No? That's okay. We're going to talk about that too, so no worries. And I also want to let you know that I will be giving you a resource at the end of the webinar. So if you find that you're loving the ideas and you want to have a chance to experience more of them with some more personal attention, there will be resources for that as well. Okay, moving on to idea number 1, the secret to kicking overwhelm. This concept of contaminated time was new to me until about a year and a half ago. I came across a book called Overwhelmed by author Brigitte Schultz, and it completely spoke to my experience in the world, and I truly believe that you're going to relate to this too. Now, it turns out that there are such people as time researchers. And time researchers have studied our behavior patterns and how we spend our time, and they've decided that men are busy doing 1.5 things at a time. So any given moment, they're probably doing 1.5 things. Now, this isn't going to surprise you because this is absolutely part of your daily experience, but women on average, do you want to guess? We're doing 5 different things at a time. Now, you've proven that we have the intelligence, the heart, and the spirit to show up in truly remarkable ways, making life better for other people nearly around the clock. And the stressful part isn't so much that we're multitasking, but that while we're doing those 5 things, we're thinking of 2 or 3 other things and feeling like maybe we ought to be doing those things instead. So underneath all the intense, busy work, we're still telling ourselves that we're not doing enough and that we should be doing other things. Now, this really stops us quite effectively from being present in the moment with anything that we're doing, and it leads to brain and body overwhelm. Now, say you're a mom and you're keeping the kids going and you're handling 1,000 different demands. You're pretty much kicking butt. You may have handled managing the crises of the day, putting out fires, supporting other people, and yet here's what we know from science. This same mom, she goes to bed at the end of the day with 2 main feelings. One is that she's not enough, because even though she's accomplished 55 things, she's also thinking about 45 more that she didn't do. And unfortunately, that's where her focus is. And number two, she's exhausted. Now, can any of you relate? Does it sound familiar? I know it sure did for me. So here's a secret. We can give ourselves the gift of claiming these little moments and saying to ourselves, right now, this moment, for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or maybe 3 at the most, I'm going to take a breath and claim the very thing we're doing as the right thing for right now. Now, some of you are thinking, Christy, that sounds nice, but I don't know how to do it. So let me walk you through what this looks like in your daily life. If you happen to notice that you're thinking, I'm not doing this thing or the other thing, and generally feeling like you're not doing enough, what I want you to do is grab a little piece of paper or a Post-it note. I'm super fond of sticky notes in lots of colors. That and a Sharpie I like to have handy at all times. Now, on this paper, I want you to number it 1 to 4. Number 1, I want you to write stop. Number 2, write down, notice all the things you're trying to do. Number 3, pick one thing to do at this very moment and write that down if you like. And number 4, write down, do it, and let the rest go. And please understand that I know the other things still need to happen. I'm not talking about just releasing it to the universe. I'm talking about letting yourself have a safe container to do what it is that's most important at that moment and free up your mind and your heart so that when you finish that task, then you can get to the rest of it with a little more grace and energy. Now, once you've got this note, put it somewhere where you can see it. Some of you are going to want to write this maybe 3 or 4 times. Maybe put one on the fridge, one on the bathroom mirror, maybe one on the car, and then do it. Here's your task. For the next 24 hours, each time you pass this note, I want you to look at it and follow the instructions. Remind yourself that what you're doing now is the exact thing you need to be doing, and the others will come in a few minutes. I challenge you to do this at least 5 times throughout the day, and just notice how it starts to shift your life. And if you like it, do it again the next day. All right. Now for idea number 2. Now I get to introduce you to the goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodite guides all women on our paths to restoring our energy and deep daily pleasure in being alive. She symbolizes the deep satisfaction, beauty, and renewable energy that is generated when we take primary responsibility for our own love and nourishment. Relentlessly joyful, Aphrodite is available to dance us through life's difficulties with grace. With limitless love, she guides us into remembering our own wholeness, opening our hearts, and thriving with some creative problem solving that I know we can all use. Now, here's what our mothers didn't tell us about desire, attraction, and being turned on. It's that it begins from claiming space for ourselves in our lives from the inside out. Now, I want you to know this is not about standard self-care. Honestly, regular self-care could be anything from brushing your teeth to taking a shower to exercising or taking your vitamins. Aphrodite isn't calling us to do more self-care that feels like more work. This is about exponentially restoring and rejuvenating your energy. When you start to live your life this way, you won't believe the benefits you receive. Aphrodite's promise is this: you can rise up rejuvenated and fully alive again, and experience peace, pleasure, and a profoundly supportive relationship with your inner goddess. So here are 3 easy ways to romance yourself and begin to reclaim your energy. I call these daily kisses. Kiss number 1. This is a body check-in. It's very simple. You check in with yourself and ask, how am I feeling? Notice if you have warm places or tight places in your body, cool places, relaxed places, anything that there is to notice about your comfort level. And then check if there's anything you can do to help yourself feel a little more relaxed and comfortable. And then please give yourself the gift of tending your body's basic needs. Now, this is something that I started working with because it was absolutely necessary. I had a habit that you might relate to of not doing super basic things like using the bathroom when I needed to because I was trying to juggle too many other family members. And a big one was letting my blood sugar slide, not taking time to eat or at least get a few little snacks in. And then, of course, what happens is it gets tougher to think clearly, our energy wanes, and it's actually preventable with really simple ways that take maybe 3 minutes, if that. Kiss number 2, the gift of completion. Now, you know that habit of pushing through the 1,000 things that need doing and never really taking a moment to honor the work you've just done? You're about to break it. Choose one thing you accomplished today and consciously acknowledge and appreciate yourself for a job well done. And please don't wait for that great, big, amazing thing that's really worthwhile that I'll get done later. It has to be something you do today. Because as far as I can tell, it's all worthwhile. You're already amazing. And I bet you'd give anybody else in your life some seriously good strokes for getting 1/10 as much done as you do in a normal day. Now, you get bonus points for doing this more than once. Give yourself appreciation more than once today. That always feels really good. Okay, kiss number 3. Play with savoring. I'd like you to choose a food that tastes really good to you, that you have on hand, because this happens in 3 minutes or less, right? Preferably, it's something that has a delectable topping or a succulent middle. This can be as simple as toast with butter and jam, a morsel of cheese or yummy sauce on the top, or a piece of dessert that has the really great part anywhere but on the bottom, as, let's face it, most foods do. Now flip that loveliness on its head. That's right. I want you to flip the food over before you take a bite. Generally, gravity will humor you for the second or two that it takes to get this into your mouth. And if the best part is in the middle, cut into that and make sure that part hits your tongue first. In addition to allowing yourself to take in the deliciousness right away, this will actually open up creative possibilities for increasing pleasure in your life. I know we can all use a little more of Aphrodite's energy, and this particular kiss is one that people just love when I've given this course earlier. Now, because we're talking about Aphrodite, I want to encourage you to get curious about the concept of play. Play is really energizing. And I actually think of my work as being in the field of deep play. And this is a concept that we're not really exposed to, so I'm going to just give you a little primer on it. Deep play is a space that challenges me to really bring my best, risk deep authenticity, and join up in adventures with my clients for expanding our capacities for wellness. One way I think of it is that there's a rush, in my case, when a client breaks through old limits into a new space of possibilities. And in these moments, we feel intensely alive, appreciative, and filled with a greater sense of lightness. And each time, I marvel at our strength and our courage as human beings and feel totally privileged to be able to share the journey of growth with another beautiful spirit. Now, it just so happens that because this is my life's work and passion, this is where I experience a lot of play. But I'd like for you to open your mind about what might be play for you. If you don't automatically resonate with the concept, if you'd like to learn a little more, I totally recommend Diane Ackerman's book on deep play. Here's a few of her quotes. Play is our brain's favorite way of learning and maneuvering. It feels satisfying and absorbing. It always has a sacred space in which it happens and invites problem solving, allowing us to test limits and develop strategies. And this is my own note, a very Aphrodite thing to do. She says, play has a time limit, which may be an intense but fleeting moment, or the exact span of a psychotherapy session. That's one of my favorites. And she also says play requires freedom. It happens outside ordinary life. So keep in mind that the original meaning of play was far from frivolous. In early times, it definitely was thought to require daring, risk, concentration, even a desire for transcendence. And this is what makes life worthwhile. It's the reason I love my work, and I look forward every day to the sacred space I'm honored to hold with clients. Alchemical transformation is my passion, and whether that's through life coaching, counseling, writing, all of these inspire my days, but so does play in other ways, like dancing. I love dancing, hiking to mountaintops, fishing in beautifully remote areas. So I encourage you to just consider what your areas of deep play are that have showed up in your life. Moments that you might remember from your past that brought you vibrantly alive. Get curious about it. And then give yourself the gift of noticing if there are ways to begin to bring these out in your life as ways to tap into the flow that can nourish everything, your mind, your body, your spirit, as well as the work you're meant to do in the world. I also want to give you my 5 secret steps to help turn weakness into strength, or your compost, and please feel free to insert your favorite swear word here, into gold. So take a moment and just turn your attention to one single area of weakness that you'd really like to transform. I encourage you to choose something that drives you crazy when you have to navigate it, a genuinely difficult area. And when I developed the system, I chose something that I'd struggled with for so long that I was actually ready to give it a dose of healing. You got it? All right, let's go. Number 1, give yourself the gift of compassion as you consider the problem that you want to solve. Please don't try to force it to change. I'm so serious about this. I've tried the force technique about 15 million times, and I swear to you, force doesn't work. Simply witness the truth of the situation gently. A little bonus tip is that enlisting supportive allies is totally encouraged. So if you've got safe people in your life, you can let them know what it is that you're working on and let them provide you with some moral support. So after you've given yourself the gift of compassion in considering a problem you want to solve, the second step is to become aware of what it is you'd rather do instead of the challenge in question. So ask yourself, what do you naturally excel at? Where does your mind like to play? And what feelings do you have when you're engaging in the flow of an arena you actually love? So just ask those questions. And then number 3, allow yourself to begin opening to creative solutions. Aphrodite inspires creativity. Now consider that there may be a way, even if you don't know how, to have a better experience succeeding in the area that feels so dang tough. Believe in your capacity to do this. Number 4, ask yourself, has there ever been an exception to the rule? If possible, remember a time when you were successful in this area, however briefly. And even if there wasn't a time, imagine yourself in a space in the world where you experience ease and better feelings while accomplishing the goal that's felt so hard. I like to ask myself, what might make this current situation just a little bit better? That's part of why I love colorful sticky notes, because if I'm tackling a big project that feels a little overwhelming, if I have colors that I love around me and I jot things on those, definitely cheers me up and helps me breathe a little easier. Ask yourself, what resources do you need? What tools might help? And just brainstorm. This can happen very quickly, but just jot things down for like 2 or 3 minutes. Free associate, don't filter, because I promise, based on my experience, even improbable ideas can be incredibly fruitful. And then, once you've got that together, change just one thing. Try something different based on steps 1 through 4 and see if you get a slightly different result. And when you do, congratulate yourself. Give yourself some love and a little extra nourishment. Revel in the fact that you're successfully shifting a lifelong pattern, because that's freaking amazing. And then you simply repeat and build on your success. So I'll go through those one more time, just quickly, in case you want to jot them down. Number one is give yourself the gift of compassion as you consider the problem you want to solve without forcing it to change. Number two is to become aware of what it is you'd rather do instead of the challenge in question, and ask yourself what you're naturally good at and where does your mind like to play, and what feelings do you prefer when you're engaged in something you love. Number three is to allow yourself to begin opening to creative solutions. Number four is to ask yourself if there's ever been an exception to the rule, and if possible, remember a time when you were successful in that area, even if it was brief, and check out what might make your situation a little bit better, if there's any resources or tools you can use. And then number five is to change one thing based on those steps for a different result. So if you would like to have me send that to you, because I didn't end up having a slide set for this with the specifics, please feel free to email me directly at Christy@thealchemistsheart.com. And I know that Jessica, who's my wonderful VA, virtual assistant, is going to enter that for you so that you can easily do it. And I'll be glad to send that information through email. Okay. Now, I promise if you keep at it, changes will add up based on these techniques, and you will find freedom that you never knew was possible. Now we'll get to my next teaching point in a moment, but first I want to tell you about something dear to my heart. At this point, you're probably thinking one of these three things. You're thinking, wow, this is cool. I love these ideas and I kind of wish you lived at my house so you could help me out with these day to day. Or maybe you're thinking, this is great, but I just need a nap, and this feels like more things I need to do. Or perhaps you're thinking, I just can't do this. It feels too hard. It's all new to me, and I'm not sure if I can. But what if you could take care of your loved ones without feeling drained to empty? What if you had way more energy for your day-to-day life? And what if you didn't feel like you were working so dang hard every day and you actually felt moments, beautiful moments of fun and joy? I'm here to tell you that this can happen for you. It absolutely can. And you know, you can have me in your back pocket, helping you make the changes that you need to make, just like we've been talking about, so that it is possible. Here's what I don't want you to do. Don't spend the next 6 months beating yourself up about these things. Don't let yourself read another magazine article and tell yourself that you'll get this handled someday. Truly, the time is now. You came here today to this webinar for a reason. Something's not working for you, and that got you curious. I invite you to honor this. Don't ignore that part of you anymore. Let yourself receive some support around this, starting right here and right now. This is why I created the Soulfire sessions. 4 live classes to show you how to fan the fire in your soul so you can bring your life energy back, plus a bonus 5th Q&A class, I give kisses from your true self, which are 30 simple practices, one gently and lovingly presented every day of our course, designed to inspire a deeper relationship with the wisest part of you. And as always, I guarantee that every kiss is going to take 3 minutes or less, although you can have total freedom to enjoy the goodness as long as you like. You'll also enjoy our Soulfire Sanctuary, which is a members-only private online forum to continue our class conversations. It's a safely held space to ask questions, share your journey, and celebrate our successes together. And you'll also receive exclusive library access to my private online library with all our class materials, recordings of our sessions, and unexpected goodies to inspire your progress, because it's my pleasure to bring more little delights into your life. And at the end of 30 days, you'll walk away with more energy for yourself and your loved ones and feel more alive again. You'll be connected to your inner goddess, and you'll discover you're no longer just a human doing, that you're a human being. I actually tear up a little when I say this, because I remember so deeply what it was to feel like I was just a human doing, just going as quickly as I could through the motions. And because I love my life so much now, that I want for you to be able to experience being alive. Now, I want you to just realize, thinking about your life the way it is right now, even with your competence and your resilience and your heart and your spirit and your own wisdom and strength, can you really keep things up the way that they've been? Something probably has to change. And you know that this isn't the way life is supposed to be. There is more for you, I promise. And I'm here to help you get it. And that's what the Soulfire sessions are about. I'll teach you, help you to carve out some time for you so that you can make the shifts you need to make. Because yes, that's what it's going to take. But I'll also help you make it simple. These things aren't difficult. You just need some guidance, and probably you've never had a compassionate person in your life that's been skilled at implementing these ideas to help you through it. And also, I'm going to make it stick so that these things become part of how you live, and it's lasting. So after the webinar, I want you to go to bit.ly bit.ly/Soulfire sessions, and you'll learn more about this powerful course that I truly love to share. The investment is $295, and I offer a 100% money-back guarantee. I'm so confident in the power of this program that I put my money where my mouth is. If you listen to the Soulfire sessions and integrate even part of what you'll learn, I know you will see excellent results in your life over the course of only 30 days. It's the small, consistent steps in our lives that add up. I would even say the tiny, consistent steps that add up. And I've seen people's lives turn around much faster than they thought it was possible to do so. So if for any reason you don't feel that this is the right course for you, send me an email before we begin the second session, and I'll refund your money with no questions asked. In my experience, the women who are drawn to this material are of such substance and integrity that I will absolutely honor what is right for you. Now, continuing with idea number 3, how to calm anxiety and breathe with grace. I'm going to share a story of how I stopped hyperventilating and started breathing with grace. Now, I know you've heard a gazillion times that we need to focus on what we want. The principle of attraction, what we focus on will come about, like attracts like, yada, yada, yada. You know all this stuff. And it makes all the sense in the world when we're in a reasonably calm place. But for me, and probably for you too, the trick is to learn how to do this once I've already started hyperventilating. Now, just in case I'm not the only one who's been through this and could use this information, here's the story of how an anxiety attack on the way to the dentist taught me to calm the heck down and do better next time. Now, on this particular day, I was determined to get myself and my 2 girls to the dentist and their orthodontist, which means a solid hour and a half away from home if there's no traffic or road work. I live in a pretty gorgeous but remote area, so there's long stretches to drive to get anywhere. Now, I was peacefully cruising along the first half of massive road construction. There was a lineup of at least 50 cars moving, if you could call it that, possibly slower than molasses. There was truly no way around, and I realized there would be no cell service to allow me to communicate with the dental office until after I got past the construction. Now, I found myself sitting in the car, feeling terribly uninvolved, starting to panic, thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. I'd had some major dental work done, and I'd had to go through getting clear of a dental phobia just to be able to get that done. So it's a pretty big deal for me to do this. But the thing was that dental work, it was a month before, and it hadn't been ground down exactly right. My teeth weren't fitting together properly, and it turned out that jaw and neck pain had become part of my daily experience. Even though I'm lucky that my husband is a chiropractor and he can generally adjust what needs adjusting and get me back into alignment, he couldn't fix what was going on with that tooth. So getting to my dentist was essential, and he'd been running super full. The office had made an exception, and they said that they could just squeeze me into this tiny little window right before my children were due at the orthodontist. So there I was, in pain, stuck in traffic, thinking really helpful things like, I'm not going to be able to make this work. I'm going to have inconvenienced the dentist. I may have to be in pain for another month until I can get a time to make this 3-hour round trip. And I migrate into a zone of, gosh, they might not even want to schedule me again because they're going to think I'm too flaky to make it. Possibly I'd be late for the children's orthodontic appointment and have to reschedule everything and feel like a complete failure. Now, I don't know if you ever do this to yourself, but I'm personally gifted with a marvelous ability to catastrophize in moments like this. I wanted to throw a temper tantrum so badly and jump up and down in my seat, but my children were sitting behind me, and I realized that I really needed to limit my self-expression. I was trying to set a good example after all. So I tried to hold it in, and I called the office as soon as I had cell service. I told them I was coming in 7 minutes later than they expected. What I heard was less than reassuring. They said the dentist was unlikely to be able to help me. He had a meeting to go to, and I would probably need to reschedule. So I did the only thing I could think of at that moment. I thanked the woman on the phone while I panicked on the inside and kept right on driving. But I started to ask myself, Christy, what do you want? I answered myself with, geez, I just want to get there on time. But I asked myself again, what do you want really? What would you have if you got there on time? Well, that was easy enough. I'd get my tooth worked on. That would give me the experience of being free from pain. I would be able to chew more easily. Gosh, my neck would be comfortable. I'd sleep better and feel better during the day. And then, because I'm persistent, I asked one more time, what do you really want? And I realized I simply wanted to feel comfortable again. It wasn't truly about needing to be there on time. It's that I craved the experience of comfort. And that is what I intentionally decided to tap into while I drove the rest of the way. I imagined myself stepping into a zone of comfort. And do you know what? I stopped hyperventilating. I did show up 7 minutes late, but when I walked in the door, wow, I was in a very different state than when I'd been sitting in road construction. As it turned out, I have no idea how, magically, they'd been able to make everything work. The dentist actually stayed there. We did get the work on my tooth done, and I was indeed more comfortable. This is a huge object lesson for me. So often, what I think I want is not the crux of the matter. And I challenge you to ask yourself, in moments where you feel a bit desperate, because I know I'm not the only one that has these moments from time to time, in moments when you're sure you need something to happen, ask yourself what you're really going for. And please let yourself tap into this piece because the feeling level you're likely to experience as a result of getting what you think you want is what makes the magic happen. So this is something that I practice daily in my life. And I want to share it with you to make it totally clear how you can put this into practice. So please take out another Post-it or a piece of paper and write this down. Step number 1, notice the chaos. Step number 2, stop. Step number 3, ask yourself, how do I want to feel? Step number 4, wait until you find the feeling. You can literally do this inside of 15 seconds. And step number 5, focus on this. Focus on the feeling. Okay. Now that you've heard these tools that I've shared today in our Rekindle the Soulfire class, and hopefully taken a few notes on rekindling your Soulfire, I want you to pick one tool, just one set of tools. Which one jumps out at you as one you'd like to practice that's going to make the most difference for you? And this too is a practice, everyone, to not try to do everything at once. Even though I've given a lot of information in this hour, and there's actually a ton of things that you can experiment with, play with, get curious about, and put into practice, I truly want you to keep it simple and pick one thing. Because if you do, it's going to begin to radically change your life for the better. Now here's how you can get even more from me. With the Soulfire sessions, 30 days to rekindle your life force for more energy, beauty, and magic every day. There's going to be 4 live classes to show you how to fan the fire in your soul so you can bring your life energy back. Plus a bonus Q&A class, so there'll be lots of ways to get personal attention. There's going to be magical guided meditations. And in addition to the energizing and inspiring information designed to uplift your life in each class, you'll also receive 4 magical guided meditations to strengthen your spirit and restore your energy. And I'm including these again because they've been an absolute favorite of past attendees. You'll also get 30 days of kisses from your true self. 30 simple practices, one gently presented each day of the course, designed to inspire a deeper relationship with the wisest part of you. And you'll experience the love and rejuvenating energy of the goddess Aphrodite, because she's such a powerful ally, and I know that the energy she brings can transform your life. You'll also enjoy the Soulfire Sanctuary. This is a members-only, private online forum to continue our class conversations, a safely held space to ask questions and share your journey and celebrate our successes. You'll also get exclusive library access with all our class materials, recordings of all our sessions, and unexpected goodies to help you along the way. And at the end of 30 days, my dears, you'll walk away with more energy for yourself and your loved ones and feel alive again. You'll be connected to your inner goddess, and as I shared earlier, you'll discover you're no longer just a human doing, my dear. You're a human being. So go to bit.ly/Soulfire sessions. And if you have questions, email me at Christy@thealchemistheart.com. I'll be so glad to hear from you and to help you decide if this is something that's right for you. Now, I want to thank you so much for being here and giving yourself this time to soak up some energy and magic for your life. You've done me a great honor by being present and attending this webinar, because it makes my day, heck, it makes my week to know that I've been able to get some ideas out here to make a difference in your life. And do remember, email me about any questions or comments you have. I'd love to hear from you. And truly, go forth and have a terrific week.